Hi, it's the Crafty Co with a tutorial on a granny square with a difference. At first glance, this square looks like a traditional granny square where you work 3 trebles in the spaces in the rounds. On closer inspection, you can see that one of the rows seems to be upside down and is mirroring the row below. So you have the narrow part of the stitch in the bottom of one row, but it's in the top of the next. These 2 rounds form the pattern for the square and are repeated until you have reached the size you want your blanket to be. You can check your progress by making sure that the narrow part is at the bottom of the round, but it's at the top of the next round. To add extra detail, when working the second round of the pattern, I insert my hook into the back loop only, and it creates a raised line around the square. I personally like to have a tight weave in my work, so I go for a smaller hook. If you are new to crochet, it's better to start with a larger gauge hook so that you can see the stitches easier. Don't worry too much about your tension, just concentrate on learning the stitch and how it's formed, and once you are confident, you can use the correct size or a smaller hook. For this tutorial, I have increased my hook size so that it's easier to follow. To start, make a magic ring and work a 1 chain to secure. Work 2 more chains and this will count as your first treble. Work another 2 trebles into the ring and you have now created your first side. To create your first corner, work a 2 chain. To close the corner and make the second side, work 3 more trebles into the ring. Work a 2 chain for your second corner and 3 more trebles to create the third side. Two chain and then 3 trebles to make the third corner and fourth side. To create the corner and close the round, work a 2 chain and then slip stitch into the back loop only of the third stitch in the 3 chain at the beginning. You have now completed your first round. This is how we start a basic granny square, but we are now going to add the modern element to it by giving the illusion that the next row is upside down. Our yarn is already in the back of a side stitch, so we are going to work the 3 trebles together in this first side. Chain 2, which counts as our first treble. Yarn over and insert hook into the back loop only of the next stitch. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and insert hook into next back loop only. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the remaining loops on the hook. We now need to increase in the corner space so that the square will lay flat. We want to make the stitch look similar to the one we have just worked, so we will work 2 cluster stitches here, and we'll do this for all 4 corners. First we need to work a 2 chain, and then we will work our first cluster. Yarn over, insert hook into corner, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, insert hook into corner, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, insert hook into corner, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through all the remaining loops. Work a 3 chain and 1 more 3 treble cluster stitch into the same corner stitch. We have now created a side stitch and a corner sequence. To create the mirror stitch to the row below, treble 3 together along the side stitch, working in the back loops only. The first stitch may be hard to locate as it is tucked right next to the corner. Work a 2 chain and then the corner sequence of 3 treble cluster, chain 3, 3 treble cluster, all into the corner space. Continue the round by working 3 trebles together in the sides and cluster sequences in the corners. We're now at our final corner and we'll work our cluster sequence here. Work a 2 chain and to close the round, slip stitch into the top of the first cluster worked. Our square has increased in size and we now have more spaces down each side. We are back to the first row of the pattern and it's a regular granny sequence. As we are changing colour, we can start anywhere in the round and we're going to start in one of the side spaces. We can work a dummy treble here instead of the 3 chain, and it's a great way to get the height we need to start the round that is very hard to spot once the round is complete. Take your hook and wrap the yarn around it twice and then insert it into the space. Yarn over and pull through. You can now see there are 3 dummy loops on the hook, so we need to treat it like a normal treble. You just need to make sure that you hold onto the tail tight or it will pop off the work and unravel. Yarn over and carefully pull over the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the remaining dummy loops. It's a good idea to keep hold of the tail until you have worked the next stitch to make sure it's secure. Work 2 more trebles into the same space. 3 treble, 2 chain and 3 treble into the corner space. Carry on around this round, working 3 trebles in each of the side spaces, and then 3 treble, 2 chain, 3 treble into the corner. I have completed the last corner, and as you can see I have 1 space left. I just need to work 3 trebles into this side space and then close the round with a slip stitch in the top of the dummy treble I worked at the beginning. We are now going to work the second row of our pattern in the same colour. Our yarn is already where we need it, so work a 3 chain and that will count as our first treble. Then crochet the next 2 together to create a cluster effect stitch that will give the illusion that it's a mirror image of the stitch below. Remember, for the second pattern row, we will be working in the back loops only. Chain 2 and treble 3 together in the back loops of the next 3 stitches in this side stitch. I have now reached the corner, and as there are no stitches to treble together here, I need to make clusters to create the corner. Chain 2 and work 1 3 treble cluster, 3 chain and 1 more 3 treble cluster into that corner space. To recap, we work 3 trebles together in the side stitches and 3 treble clusters into the corners. Don't forget, when working in the side stitch after the corner, the first back loop may be hiding, so just tease the corner until you can find it. Continue this sequence around this round, making sure you work a 2 chain after your 3 treble together and a 3 chain between the treble clusters in the corners. Once you have completed your final 3 treble together, work a 2 chain and close the round with a slip stitch into the top of the first 3 treble together worked at the beginning. These 2 rows are all you need to create the modern granny square. If you prefer to not have the line detailing, all you need to do is work through both loops on your treble 3 together stitch. You can join smaller squares to form a large blanket. If you are using the join as you go method, end the first square on the first pattern row as I have done here. Add the following squares whilst doing the first row pattern, and that way you will keep the illusion of the upside down stitch all through the blanket. I hope you like the modern granny square. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with another crochet tutorial.